Yes, indeed. That is a rather shocking question, and I'm sure some of you are startled by it and perhaps a little upset by it, and maybe that's even the reason you're listening to the rest of this program. Yes, did Jesus clean his own toilet? And what does that mean for you as a Christian entrepreneur? Well, there's some really good reasons behind the question. And on this Thursday evening, as we bring the 2018 to an end, and as we think about 2019, if you'll give me just a few minutes, I'd like to try and explain the stories behind that question and what it means to me personally and what it might mean to you as we seek to live a successful life and build a successful business in 2019. That's what's coming up on the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience, and the experience begins right now. Yes, and thank you for deciding perhaps you'll hang around and see what this is all about. Well, as I always try to do is, can I just start by telling you some stories? And you'll begin to see where this is going. A number of years ago, when I was looking for what my next story in life would be, I'd been a school teacher for about 13 years, and I'd been very good at that, worked very hard at it, was successful at it. And we were looking at, cross-cultural service, both for the humanity we believe we're called to serve and for the cause of Jesus, whom we're also called to serve. And one of my mentors was a man who had a variety of experiences in cross-cultural work. And he was a real mentor to me, and he had been a missionary. And not only a missionary in terms of he preached and taught and spoke the gospel, but near and dear to my heart, he had been involved in broadcasting worldwide, and he always had a deep in his heart conviction that the gospel will be received by those people who've had some of the things that distract and distress and disturb their lives. If we, in the name of Jesus, can begin to alleviate some of those things, it will give them time, and it will build a relationship, and it will help in the, not just speak the gospel, but primarily live it. And he was talking to me about the situation, particularly in the third world, and he said to me, Stan, really when it comes right down to it, a lot of the people in the world, they really need one thing, and that is clean water. That's it. A lot of the problems in the world are just simply due to the fact that people don't have enough clean water. And by actually helping a village or a group of people have good access to clean water, all kinds of things begin to happen. Disease goes down. Cleanliness goes up. There's all kinds of things that are simply due, in a bad way, to the fact that there's not enough clean water nearby. And to be able to help a group of people solve the clean water issue will be profound. And I remember that. But it also came to me the other day through another story which I heard, and that is that Bill Gates, now the entrepreneurial technologist, very much now the entrepreneurial philanthropist, he has decided, based on some of that same ancient wisdom, that one of his major projects is building toilets. A toilet that people can use, and without a connecting sewer system, which of course, think about it right now. What would life be like if we didn't have toilets? What if we didn't have sewer systems? Think about it now. The toilet, the sewer system. What would life be like without those simple things? And you all have had the experience when one of those systems has broken down. One of the simple entrepreneurs you love to see is that man, that woman, who we simply call the plumber. Because they fix those things. And we really need them fixed. And so the story is that if we can find ways, and that's what Bill Gates is up to, is getting the cost down for flooding the developing world with toilets that make it possible to function without a related sewer system, and that, quote, the refuse from the toilet can then be recycled into things that are fertilizing not only the imagination but the well-being of people, and of course perhaps the plants and animals and growth that needs to take place. So that's that entrepreneur's project, toilets. And that brought me back to another story which has always struck me. Mahatma Gandhi. Now, I know he's a controversial character, and particularly among some Christian people who feel that there's something not quite right there. Well, like everything else, there's not quite right everything about all of us, and all of us are deeply flawed people. But there was one story that I read many years ago that caught my attention, and it brought me up to date. It said that one of the things Gandhi insisted as he began to gain the following of people is that he decided that every morning one of the first things he would do is he would clean his toilet. Now, people were shocked. After all, we have a whole underclass of people called untouchables in India, and that's what they do. And not the Brahmin elite, not the warriors, not the merchants. We have the untouchables, and they have the jobs of sweeping the streets and cleaning the toilets. But what Gandhi said is, it will be good for me. And so he made a decision that every morning he would clean his own toilet. And then he went even further, that he said to his shocked followers and disciples, and you will clean yours. And so one of the qualities of leadership that Gandhi said was, hey, if you want to serve others, begin by serving yourself and perhaps serving others by cleaning up your mess. Clean your own toilet. Now, I'd just like, at this 7-minute break, to have you think about that. His leadership lesson was, clean your own toilet. And so, I asked the question, did Jesus clean toilets? Did Jesus clean his own toilet? I know that's hard to put into our mindset, all of the things and pictures we have of Jesus, but obviously it's a real question. Just as it's real for you and me every day. What would we do? How would we live? How would business, life, and commerce go on if there were no toilets? Think about that. We'll be back. Well, I did think about that, and here's where it led me. First of all, there was a rather interesting thing. Karen and I came to the position that because of circumstances, we were going to decide that rather than hiring a very nice woman to come and clean our home, that we would save a little money and use it in a different way. And we decided that going forward, we would clean our own house. We can do that. We did it for years when we were younger, and we can certainly do it again. And so we made a decision to clean our own home. Well, that means someone has to clean the showers, and somebody has to clean up the bathroom, and right, somebody has to clean up the toilet. And I decided that it will be me. I will do that. I will keep it clean. And just as Gandhi would also suggest, and we would also know this is true, if you really want to keep it nice and clean, you probably have to do it every day. So I decided that part of my daily discipline is every day I will clean the toilet. And you know, that's exactly what I do. And I've gotten pretty good at it. I know exactly how to do it. I've learned how to do it and how to do it well and how to make it look and smell nice as things like that can be. And so every day, part of my daily discipline, along with the many that I have, like reading God's Word, praying, is I spend a few minutes every day cleaning the toilet. It's good for me. And as long as I can, and as long as I'm able, I will clean the toilet. And now for you, entrepreneur, as you go into the new year, perhaps you're one of those people that says, well, boy, someday I'd like to get to the point where I only do the things I love to do. Good for you. That's the way I am too. Delegate everything but your genius is what I tell people. You know, do what you love and find somebody else to do the things you don't like and love. But I got to pull back on that a little bit. Perhaps it's not what I love to do and what I'm good at. Sometimes I have to do what has to be done. I remember a gentleman who was giving us a little presentation about his success, and he was a Christian entrepreneur, and literally what happened to him is he was the driver for a one-truck driving company. This was a local delivery service, and the guy had one truck, and he drove it, and then he would hire this guy to drive it the other time, so the truck could keep busy, almost, constantly delivering things. One day he showed up for work, and the IRS was there, and his boss had not paid his taxes, and the IRS was shutting down the business. He said, well, what am I going to do? This is my job. And he said the IRS guy turned to him and said, well, this truck is for sale. And so he scraped up enough money, found somebody to help him, borrowed some, and he bought the truck. And that was the start of his own freight business. Now it is a major company throughout the upper Midwest and throughout much of America. Yeah, he did it. He built it. Ups and downs and backs and forth, and in a tough and rugged industry like trucking. And he says, in the beginning, I did everything. And even long after the beginning, somebody would call in sick, and there was a truck that had to go. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and we had a truck that was to go to Chicago that night, and it better be there. And there was nobody there. He said, so I would call up my wife and say, sorry. And off he would jump into the cab and take the truck to Chicago and find a way back. Somebody had to do it. And I just simply say that I believe Jesus probably would do whatever had to be done. And when I posed this question to some guy, he was shocked at first, and then he said, yeah, but remember that foot washing thing? Remember the foot washing thing? Yeah. You know what? I think he probably would. Obviously, it's a lesson in incredible leadership for you to mimic and imitate to the people you work with, that you will do what has to be done. It's not too big a job for you, and it's not too small a job for you. You will do what has to be done to serve others. And if someone has to clean the toilet, you know what? Maybe it's your job. And somehow the idea that, hey, as an entrepreneur, I'm going to have to do many, many, many things. Many things that are unpleasant things, difficult things. But if I want to achieve the goal and perhaps be what Jesus would be, maybe I occasionally have to learn that I might have to clean a toilet or two myself. And so I just simply close the program by saying, that's my 3 stories, maybe 4, and I'll let it sit on your head for a while, and you can answer the question and the relevance of the question. Would Jesus have cleaned the toilet? Well, what did you come up with? I'm Stan Houston. This is the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience. We are in the business, and we hope that you can help us. Throughout 2019, we want to take the message of Jesus as entrepreneur and you as a powerful Christian entrepreneur, not only to the United States, but throughout the world. And we would like you to be a part of that. So if you could help us, I would be grateful. Right now, we could use some of your donations. We will eventually be fully sustained by the work and services we offer to people like you. But if you can help us right now at www.tcenglobal.org/contribute now. That's tcenglobal.org/contribute now. I would be profoundly grateful. And through the year before us, we are trusting that there will be all kinds of teach about videos, all kinds of audio programs, and as you will discover, we are going to help many of you do exactly what we're doing now, finding a way to share your wisdom, your insight and truth by learning how to do internet radio, how to do a YouTube channel to demonstrate your wisdom and insight, and find ways that you can use the new and modern, but very powerful, both for good or evil technology, to build a life and a business that is fully alive and matters and makes a difference. And that's what we're hoping you can do, and help us do it together. We'd love to hear from you. RadioEdge77@gmail.com, RadioEdge77@gmail.com. And I'd love to hear from you. And tell me a little bit of your response to that rather startling question. Do you think Jesus would do that? What would you do? What are you going to do? All the best and blessings to you. Take care. I'm Stan Houston. Bye for now.